Welcome to the show. I'm back from Washington, D.C. Almost didn't make it back. 5 minutes of thunderstorms near DCA set off an unlikely but disastrous series of creeping delays. And it was a close one. It was a close one, but I did fortunately make it back for the show. I've been asking myself, and I want to ask you and bring you into this conversation. Are we witnessing right now the rise of a new political order on the American left wing? Is this happening? I'm going to give you the bullet points. I'm going to give you my analysis, and then I want to hear from you. We saw in New York City, Zoran Mandani, an open democratic socialist, refuses corporate money, defeat in the Democratic primary elements of the Democratic machine that include, of course, former Governor Andrew Cuomo. It was a pretty convincing defeat. And this is arguably the same movement that gave us Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who similarly won a stunning upset Democratic primary in her district at the very start of her involvement in American politics. This is the same movement to a degree that backed Bernie Sanders for president multiple times when the Democratic establishment attempted to shut him down. And this is a movement that is now loudly saying, as I hear it, we do not trust the old Democratic Party to stop Donald Trump. So the natural question right now, almost July 2025, is, are these some isolated victories, or is this actually the beginning of a new political order on the American left? Now, the answer to a degree depends on what you want to see. I know that my audience is not totally united on this, but if you step back and look at the National Democratic Party, mostly still run by what we would call centrist lifers, consultant class strategists, donor-backed moderates, a growing number of left-wing voices, including I know many in my audience, are done with that. And if you look at just the comment sections for my interviews with any elected senator, it is palpable that there is a contempt among some in my audience, no matter what they say, very mixed reaction. I mean, just yesterday, interviewed Cory Booker. We posted a clip. I think Cory Booker said some excellent things if you just analyze what he said. And the comments are riddled with people who are just furious. How dare I even interview him? And what about this thing he did? What about that thing he did? When I think if we zoom out, Cory Booker is among Democratic senators one of the better allies that we have. And talking to him both on camera yesterday and behind the scenes only reinforced that. So if we look at this new political order, it, of course, blames Trump's return on the people that voted for Trump, on MAGA, but it also blames Trump's return on Democrats who stood for very little. Part of my analysis of why Kamala Harris lost. Democrats that ran on fear and fundraising emails without really offering a vision that goes beyond, we aren't Trump. Trump's terrible. We're not Trump. Matches the criticism that I've had. But now we are seeing that rejection of establishment Democrats really show up at the ballot box. So we saw candidates like Mamdani in New York City. It used to be fringe not to take corporate PAC money. Now it's almost a requirement if you want credibility with these younger left-wing voters. And more, the grassroots isn't just asking for better Democrats. It really wants a clean break from the donor class political ecosystem. And they might be right, because when you talk to Gen Z voters, and many of them don't even see the Democratic Party as the opposition anymore, Trump's in office, the far right is in charge, young voters feel like Democrats have already surrendered on so many issues. You look at climate or housing, labor, it's a very long list. So into that vacuum of leadership steps a new kind of leader. People like AOC, Bernie, Mamdani, people who don't just say vote blue, but who say, hey, the Democratic Party needs to be rebuilt. Now, there's an accelerationist aspect to that is not exactly my politics, but it doesn't matter. I'm secondary here. I'm just analyzing what we are seeing. I only get one vote. There's a generational line that is sort of hardening here. The party of Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries is still dominating in Washington, D.C. And boy, do they dominate. I mean, that's one of the things that was very front and center when I was there yesterday. But you look on the ground in districts and in cities and around the country, and it's a very different story. You see voters under 35. It's not just that they're more progressive. There's an aspect of that, but it's more so that they are more skeptical of the institutions that got us the modern Democratic Party. They're more willing to call out corporate capture. They're more open to structural change that starts to border on accelerationism. So this is not just a messaging issue. In some of my conversations with elected officials that will be playing over the next few days that I recorded yesterday in DC, you'll see that there is a focus on policy and there's a focus on messaging, but it's not even really that. We are increasingly facing a worldview gap. And that may be a greater dividing line in this new political order of the left. Now, I also want to do sort of like a reality check about where we are. Zoran Mandani won a primary. Okay, we'll see what happens in November. It was a primary. Often the primary is a proxy to the general in a lot of these elections, but we have to wait and see what happens in November to say, okay, was this actually an instance, a vignette in this new political order? AOC, for all her star power and how I think she's developed into a far more pragmatic and effective member of Congress, she is still a member of Congress with limited legislative wins. And this is the part that gets tough, some of this new left that brought her to victory at the beginning of her political career is now angry with AOC. To some, AOC has sold out now because she is more cognizant of how you get power and how politics in Washington works. So we'll see what is next for her. Bernie never became president. He's made it clear he's not running again. He's near the end of his career. So the point here is there's a lot of energy. There is clearly a desire for this new left political order. Energy is not the same thing as power yet. We will see whether the energy translates to power. Now, still, if the Democratic establishment keeps offering nothing except Trump sucks, and if Trump keeps getting worse, which he almost certainly will, this new movement might not just be the future of the left. It might be the only thing that's left if the establishment Democratic Party just keeps running on Trump's bad, which doesn't really seem to be that great of an idea for winning elections. For years, the progressive left has lived in a sort of state of suspended animation, maybe. A lot of ideas, but nowhere really to go. We now see a different playbook. Build power locally, win primaries, reshape the bench. It's not glamorous to the same degree, but it is how a lot of historically successful movements have started. So we're going to see if it grows or whether the establishment is able to crush it. Sometimes insurgencies that challenge power do get crushed by the establishment. So we will wait and see, but this may be the rise of a new political order on the left. I want to hear from you about it.